Welcome back to the channel. In the previous session of Spiritually Conscious Soul 101, I spoke about the potential dangers private citizens face with their reliance on the online banking system. Today I want to focus on some knowledge that will help our channel's viewers to gain greater insight into the validity of universal extraterrestrial life and its involvement with planet Earth. A perspective this channel has put forward very strongly from the very beginning. This knowledge is a little-known research method that makes use of superposition formation at the quantum level. A superposition in quantum mechanics, very basically put, is where a particle can be present in more than one position at the same time. I know it's difficult to get one's head around it, but this is a scientifically proven and widely accepted fact. This little-known process is called remote viewing. It has a long, well-documented history and has become a science that facilitates the ability to tap into patterns of information that surround us. Remote viewers are subjected to strict protocols to ensure that they are not influenced by anything outside of their own consciousness. I have personally been involved with the remote viewing group. Our joint focus was to learn the methodology. I achieved limited success in the targets that were provided for various projects. However, focusing on my writing career at the time took priority, and I withdrew from the initiative. There have been some well-known names involved with the phenomenon of remote viewing over the years. Russell Targ, Harold Puthoff, Ingo Swann, Joseph McMonigal, and Courtney Brown, to name a few. But it should be mentioned that the CIA set up a dedicated practice during the Cold War era in the hopes of learning vital secrets about the enemy's intentions. The program was initiated in 1975 and shut down in 1995. Several mainstream information providers denounced the practice as pseudoscience and misinformed the general public, saying that the initiative was shut down because of a complete lack of results. I just laugh at this idiotic conclusion. If it took the CIA 20 years to discover that remote viewing didn't work, they must be the most incompetent of all the U.S. intelligence departments. Since the establishment of the National Intelligence Initiative in September 1947. Heck no. Knowing who these remote viewers were at the time and how long the CIA continued in its drive for information, it's a dead certainty that the results were hugely successful. Since those days, one of the names I mentioned earlier continued to persevere and formed a non-profit group named the Farsight Institute, and that is Dr. Courtney Brown, who started the Farsight Institute in 1996. Dr. Brown was one of the subsequent inclusions to the CIA program sometime before it was shut down. He has an impressive bio, as you can see from the insert behind me. He has published peer-reviewed research in premier scientific outlets. He has spoken internationally at a host of prestigious venues, including universities. He has spoken at respective gatherings of physicists. He is the author of several books on the subject of remote viewing, and his most recent book is The Science and Theory of Non-Physical Perception. In fairness to the mainstream critics, the science of metaphysics has only recently been able to make headway on the academic stage, and that's due to the association of quantum physics with the science of consciousness. I give an exposé of the rise of the consciousness revolution in my book, The Golden Age, Awaken, O My Soul, to Ultimate Reality. I discuss the steps of awakening to the new paradigm, and how I developed a relationship with my higher self, a result that anyone can achieve if they put their mind to it, excuse the pun. So, in consideration of Dr. Courtney Brown's Farsight remote viewing projects, I find that are two very significant targets that play into our current real-life situation. The increase of draconian and authoritarian enslavements that being fostered upon humanity at the current moment and time. These two targets are extremely significant, as the proof of the existence of extraterrestrial involvement is a huge factor in convincing humanity that the threat we all face is very real. Remember, these remote viewers are highly advanced in their ability to focus on targets within the double-blind protocols, which are required for the authentication of all their projects. The first target they were given related to the existence of the Ashtar Command, situated in the clouds of Jupiter. Before our minds rebel at the possibility of such a prospect, we must bear in mind that the capabilities of these extraterrestrials are aeons in advance of our earthly human scientific potential. The more hostile the environment chosen extrapolates to the greater protection against the detection by hostile forces. The remote viewers aced this project and proved to all that the Ashtar Command exists. Not only did they prove its existence, but they also caught its intent, that is, to act as an observer and protector of our solar system's sovereignty. The second target the remote viewers reported on was the existence and authenticity of the Galactic Federation of Worlds as a group of extraterrestrials helping humanity escape the clutches of the deep state. The remote viewers nailed the context of the GFW's mission, its association with the Intergalactic Confederation, and the bivalent conflict of purpose between these players as to whether or not the mission of helping Earth is a worthwhile endeavor. I covered this conflict in video number 10 if you'd like to revisit the record. The first target the remote viewers reported on was the actual Galactic Federation of Worlds HQ, and the purpose of their intervention, as I've already mentioned, plus the distinct nature of the conflict and the apparent strain this dilemma posed for the parties involved. The second part of the target focused on the GFW galactic ship from where the Earth project was being deployed. The remote viewers honed in on the ship's commander and his sense of the threat his commission was facing in the face of the much larger unified forces of the Sayakar and Nebo empires. The viewers sensed the GFW encouragement of all those on Earth who are awake to the current situation, to stand against and speak up in regard to the authoritarian enslavement engender. And this is the message for all my channel's viewers today. Now is the time to be as vocal as we are able and to stand up against the tyranny that faces humanity in this hour. It's easy to take the passive wait-and-see route because it negates any retaliation from the censorship beast to shut down any dissident voices, that is, against authoritarian governmental interventions. However, if you play it smart, you can still add your voice to the dissident narrative and avoid the brunt of potential retaliation. It should be noted that what Dr. Brown's remote viewers revealed with regard to these targets corroborates the accounts of the Galactic Federation of Worlds that Elena Danaan reveals in her book, The Cedars. It also corroborates the account of George Van Tassel from the 1950s, who claims to have had contact with the original Ashtar Collective, that is, before they were compromised by the reptilians and the subsequent breakaway by the Ashtar Command to form a separate military entity, now resident in the clouds of Jupiter. You may be challenged to keep an open mind when considering all I have said today, but just remember what I mentioned in video number 4 about allowing that resonating experience to become a reality. When we feel there is something we believe to be true, but to which we cannot attribute a detailed proof of that resonating of vibrations spoken of by Professor Einstein. You may need to apply this if your conscious mind challenges the Farsight Institute's discoveries. Peace and light to all my channel's viewers. Well, that's all we have time for on this expose of Spiritually Conscious Soul 101. But before we close, please remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons below. It's vitally important that should you resonate with this message, you encourage others to subscribe, and in doing so, keep this channel active and relevant. There isn't much time left for us to get the real news out to the world. Remember, the censorship beast is gathering momentum. Should you like to make a comment, you can go to the website listed at the bottom of the screen and use the comment section. Thank you for watching my channel, and be sure to catch up with the latest material on the next viewing of Spiritually Conscious Soul 101.